It was early morning, and the sun's first light began to appear on the horizon. At the same time, two travelers riding camels swiftly exited the gates of Basra and set off on their journey. These two men were Abu Salih and Hayder, famous merchants of Baghdad, who had traveled to Basra to sell their goods and had earned significant profit. Although childhood friends, Abu Salih and Hayder had very different temperaments and characters. They had originally traveled with a caravan of merchants, but instead of continuing to other cities with the group, they decided to return to Baghdad. Abu Salih's wife had been unwell when they left, and Hayder, unwilling to leave his friend alone, chose to accompany him back. They traveled briskly, hoping to cover a significant distance before sunrise to avoid the scorching desert heat. Summers turned the desert into a furnace, and there was also the risk of sandstorms. They reached an oasis before dawn, where Abu Salih suggested they rest, allowing the camels and themselves to recover. Hayder agreed, and they drank water, ate food, and tied their camels under the shade of the trees. As they sat talking, Hayder's greed surfaced. "My friend," he said, "you brought goods worth 5,000 dirhams and made another 5,000 in profit. But I brought only 1,000 dirhams worth of goods and made a modest 2,000 dirhams. If only we had bought more goods here to sell in Baghdad, we could have earned even more." Abu Salih, a content and honest man, replied, "Thank God for what you have. You doubled your wealth. Do not be ungrateful." But Hayder's greed was insatiable, and he kept wishing for more. They eventually lay down to rest. Abu Salih soon fell into a deep sleep, but Hayder lay awake, consumed by his greed. The thought of stealing Abu Salih's money crossed his mind. He quietly reached for his friend's bag but hesitated as he saw his friend's trusting face. "What am I doing? This man is my childhood friend." Overcome by guilt, he returned the money and tried to sleep. As dawn broke, they were startled by the cry of Abu Salih's camel, which had been bitten by a poisonous snake. Despite their efforts, the camel could not be saved. They now had to share Hayder's camel. As they continued their journey, a strong wind began to blow, signaling an approaching sandstorm. Hayder insisted they move on quickly, but Abu Salih warned, "We must wait for the storm to pass. It's too dangerous to continue." Hayder, stubborn and reckless, ignored his friend's advice, and they pressed forward. The storm intensified, and they were forced to dismount and seek shelter behind the camel. Abu Salih struggled against the storm, and seeing his friend in distress, Hayder's greed took over. He abandoned Abu Salih, taking the camel and leaving his friend to fend for himself in the deadly storm. Abu Salih's cries for help echoed in the desert, but Hayder did not look back. Eventually, the storm subsided. Hayder, feeling triumphant, continued his journey, thinking he had left his friend for dead. He reached Baghdad and fabricated a story about how the storm had claimed Abu Salih's life. Over time, Hayder's business flourished. He became one of Baghdad's wealthiest merchants but never once inquired about Abu Salih's family or expressed remorse. His greed had consumed him entirely. Meanwhile, Abu Salih, who had miraculously survived, was rescued by a passing caravan. After recovering in Basra, he returned to Baghdad. Despite his hardships, he chose not to seek revenge on Hayder. Instead, he worked hard and slowly rebuilt his life. His honesty and determination brought him great success, and he once again became a prosperous merchant. Years passed, and Hayder, now a prominent trader, embarked on a journey to Damascus. His caravan was filled with valuable goods. However, during one night at an oasis, a group of ruthless bandits attacked the caravan, looting everything. Hayder lost not only his wealth but also his dignity. Left wounded and penniless, he wandered aimlessly and eventually became a beggar in Damascus. One day, while begging in the market, Hayder saw a wealthy merchant distributing charity to the poor. To his shock, the merchant was none other than Abu Salah. Overcome with shame, Hayder tried to hide, but Abu Salah recognized him. Seeing his old friend in such a pitiful state, Abu Salah's heart softened. Without expressing anger or resentment, he helped Hayder stand and embraced him. Hayder, weeping, begged for forgiveness. Abu Salah forgave him wholeheartedly and even helped him rebuild his life, teaching him the value of honesty and integrity. This story reminds us that greed and betrayal lead to destruction, while honesty and kindness bring peace and success. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to our channel, English Story Sarge. Thank you.